Albert, congrats, man. You beat Wiebe last week. You're on the show this week. Wiebe's relegated to behind the camera duty.
Been waiting for this my entire life, Jason. You, me, starting lineup. Do you have a nickname for me?
Dude, don't get ahead of yourself. All right, he's holding me to this. He got the 40 points. He's back on the show. Sorry, Albert. Yeah, Andrew, you beat the minimal threshold of 40 measly points. But our fantasy friends have spoken. We asked for some questions this week, and Trent Paulson asked, how reliable is your fantasy advice? Well, it depends who you're talking to, me or Horseface over here. That got Travis Luscombe doing a little digging. It seems there's only one fantasy stud on starting lineup.
You'll notice how you labeled your column there, Jay. That's no mistake. Top-notch work, Travis. Stud, sad sack. It's all the same on Team Sagini. Team Wiebe, it's more than just fantasy. It's a lifestyle. Let me live, sad sack. Let me live. You know what? Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. Last time I checked, I was 120 points out of the top 1,000. If I crack triple digits by the end of the season, you, Jason Sagini, have to go by Team Sad Sack for an entire calendar year.
Okay, if you agree to this, I'm in 832nd place, about 2,500 places ahead of this guy. If I finish in the top 100, I name your team next year. If we both succeed, it's a wash. Now, let's take a look at some more fan questions for this week, and we'll start with Diane Goyman, I think. And she's got a new theory. Play the guys playing against the teams with double game weeks, since the double game week people will be tired. What do you think, Andrew?
That is some mad science there. If your fantasy gut tells you to pick up single week players with those precious transfers, for whatever reason, I'll gladly hear you out. It can make sense. I just don't understand, Jay, why you would skip the plethora of DGW options in this round unless you're going all in on elite players like, I don't know, Pedro, Thierry, or Federico, or maybe grabbing a bargain whose price is going to skyrocket. Either way, you better be doing so with an eye toward future rounds, and I'm still a little skeptical.
All right, maybe she's got a point. Looking back at the last double game weeks, only one team had a shutout in their second game, and it was Chivas over the Montreal Impact. But the majority of teams only gave up one goal in their second game. Only a few gave up more, and they were either on the road or they were Montreal. So the safer bet here for me is just pick whoever's playing against Montreal.
That's boiling it down. It took you a while to get there. Here's one from longtime starting lineup fan Cameron Evans. He wants to know thoughts on the teams with the most favorable schedules coming up.
All right, I did some digging here. First off, check out the CCL schedule because it's going to affect Montreal, Kansas City, Portland, New York, and DC. Also, US Open Cup semifinals are the week after All-Star, so Dallas, Philly, Seattle, Chicago all have an extra game. So looking at the next 7 weeks, I have mixed feelings about this, but I like Toronto. 4 straight road games to start, but 2 double game weeks over that span. They have not been shut out since early April in MLS play. And the other team I'd look at here, the LA Galaxy, 3 double game weeks in the next 7. Moving on to Nick Etchegaray, and he's got a decision to make. Mauro Diaz or Shea Salinas?
Hey, we're going to help him make that decision, aren't we, Jay? Time for a transfer match. I should say sad sack. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Not that I don't like Diaz, but you go Salinas here, whether it's the short or the long haul. He's got 3 double game weeks left if you're looking at the long term. And short term, he's a guaranteed to be in there and play a big part in their attack, whether they're doing the Bash Brothers style or that prettier soccer that you saw this past week. 16 games left for him as opposed to only 13 for Diaz.
Look, Salinas doesn't have an assist since May 25th, and Jason got blinded by that stunning goal against Dallas, his cough. And Jason got blinded by that stunning goal against FC Dallas, his only goal of the season there, sad sack. I know Diaz is still working his way back. I know his place in the lineup is still in flux, but the potential for big points blows Salinas out of the water. If you've managed your cap right and you got some wiggle room, you should be able to stash him on your bench if need be. I'll put it this way. Diaz could start for an elite fantasy team. Salinas, depth at best. Do you want to be elite? Sad sack, he's not too concerned about that.
What, Andrew? What do you know about being elite?
Well, hey, I'll put this out there for you, starting lineup, folks. He makes the script, he shows Salinas. I didn't have a choice.
Well, it wouldn't be a complete episode of Starting Lineup without giving you our picks at captain. Brock Brolowski.
Nailed that one.
You asked for it. We're going to deliver like I delivered with three double-digit suggestions last week.
Time for me to claw my way back into Travis's rankings. Strap in, sad sack. It's time for Oh Captain, My Captain. Jermaine Defoe is rested, real rested, and Toronto FC is starting to turn into a track outfit perfectly suited to a certain speedy English forward. Yes, he has 2 road games, but DC's center backs can be had in a foot race. And Montreal, as Jay said, well, they're Montreal. Oh, he takes PKs too, so that's good. 2, Thierry gets up for RSL. He's got a full-on crush for the Utah outfit. Then New York hosts fellow DGWs and hopeless New England at home. That can only mean one thing, folks. Goals for Bradley Wright Phillips, and that means points for you, as Mr. Burns would say, excellent. I learned my lesson last week. When in doubt, just captain a South American playmaker. None better in MLS than Javi Mo, and I, copying Sad Sack from last week, think he'll be in for big matches versus New York and Colorado, who are on DGWs themselves. He's wearing my armband, and I gotta find my horse mask.
I taught a lot of people that lesson last week, didn't I, Weebs? Now my picks. At number 3, Jermaine Defoe of Toronto FC. He's got 2 away games, but one of them is against lowly Montreal, as my buddy Andrew mentioned. He has been on a good scoring clip lately. I say you roll with him. At number 2, I'm going with Luis Silva of DC United. Maybe a little bit off the fantasy radar, but 2 goals and an assist in his last 3. He is key to that DC attack. Even if the Toronto game is tight, the second matchup is against the league's worst defense in Houston. At number 1, at this point, you gotta go BWP, Bradley Wright Phillips. He just scores in every game he plays. RSL away might be tough, but then he gets to follow it up against a struggling Revolution, who've given up 9 goals in their last 3 games. All right, let us know in the comments section below. Are you Team Sagini or are you Team Horseface over there with this week's advice? That's all we have for this edition of Starting Lineup. Good luck in your fantasy matchups and enjoy the midweek MLS action.